Here, a virgin is sent into the cave to marry the mountain god. This is done to ensure the village enjoys favorable weather and plentiful food. But the women of the village, unwilling to wed the mountain god, have all chosen to leave this place. It turned out that no woman who entered the cave ever emerged again. Unexpectedly, one girl insisted on offering herself to the mountain god. She voluntarily approached the village chief to ask to marry the mountain god. The chief told her that her sister had already been offered to the mountain god last year. Therefore, this year she did not need to be offered again. Unbeknownst to him, the girl was determined to enter the cave. She wanted to investigate the mysterious disappearance of her sister, so she pleaded with the village chief once more, willingly dedicating herself to the mountain god, to ensure the village enjoys favorable weather and good harvests next year. The chief, seeing the sincerity on the girl's face, reluctantly granted her request. He then instructed the girl's stepmother to bring her inside for a physical examination. When the crowd lifted the quilt, they discovered several books on childbirth on the bed. The stepmother suspected that the girl was no longer a virgin. The girl explained that the books were for better communication and interaction with the mountain god, and nothing more. She also said she had consulted a master who predicted she was a born sacred vessel for pregnancy, destined to conceive the mountain god's child. After the girl changed her clothes, the stepmother began to examine her body. She was surprised to find that the girl was indeed a virgin. Then her mother had her wash away any impurities from her body, because a woman marrying the mountain god must be spotless. Next, the stepmother led her to the village chief, and asked the girl to remove her clothes again in public for another examination. The girl blushed at the sight of so many people in the room, but the stepmother explained that the second examination was to ensure no mistakes. If the mountain god discovered that the woman sent into the cave was not a virgin, a curse would befall their village. Hearing this, the girl could only helplessly remove her clothes. After passing both examinations, the girl successfully cleared the requirements. The villagers helped her dress and prepare, and set out on the road to the cave. Halfway there, the girl suddenly tripped and cut her hand, causing it to bleed. Seeing this, the chief angrily scolded the girl for being so careless, saying that bleeding on the wedding day was a terrible omen. The girl hurriedly took out a jade pendant, explaining that it was a talisman given to her by a fortune teller. The master had foreseen that she would experience sorrow before joy today. This meant that although she was bleeding now, once she saw the mountain god, she would surely conceive his child. The villagers all thought this made sense. Someone produced a red cloth, explaining that the mountain god's bride must keep her gaze pure, and not look at the mountain spirits. She could only remove the red cloth once she met the mountain god. The chief then blindfolded the girl with the red cloth. A moment later, the group arrived outside the cave. At this point, the chief again advised the girl that upon entering the cave she must obey the mountain god's arrangements, and never go against his will. The girl obediently nodded in agreement. Then, amid the villagers' kneeling worship, she stepped into the cave 1 foot at a time. Suddenly, she heard terrifying sounds coming from inside. Determined to uncover the secret of her sister's disappearance, she removed the red cloth from her eyes to take a closer look, only to be startled.